Good. So today we'll take up two topics. One is Schedule 1 of the combination regulations, and then interconnected transactions. Okay. Now I'm sharing. One second. I'm sharing a screen.
बिल्कुल आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर लो आपके उधर से कुछ आवाज आ रही है बैकग्राउंड में.
Yeah. Can you see this? Regulation 3. Boss, yes or no? Boliye, please.
Yes sir.
Yeah. Now you see this regulation 4 of combination regulation, which I am highlighting. Categories of transaction not likely to have appreciable adverse effect on competition in India. Okay. Now what is this first appreciable adverse event on competition in India? Can anyone tell?
So AEC, the concept flows from section 3, where the idea is basis factors given under section 19 of the act. You can determine whether something, whether a particular conduct of a particular party causes a AEC on the competition in India, and if it does, then you.
Yeah, you are partially correct, partially wrong. I'll tell you why, and everyone will understand the concept. Appreciable adverse effect on competition, AEC in short, has not been defined in anywhere in the act. Only the factors are defined. Okay. If you look into the act, one second, let me open it. If you look it into the act is here. Can everyone see? Abuse of dominance. Yeah. Yeah. You go to section 19. Yeah. Inquiry into certain agreements, dominant position. Okay, we'll not look into this right now because we are dealing combinations right now. Inquiry into combinations. Okay. One second. There's a problem with scrolling down. Okay, AEC is this for the purpose of determining. See, highlighting here I am. Can you see the highlighted portion? Yes or no, boss?
Yeah.
For the purpose of determining whether a combination would have an effect of or likely to have an AEC in the relevant market. So you read this sentence again because I'm telling you one concept. Whether a combination would have effect of or likely to have an AEC in the relevant market. Can anyone explain to me what is it trying to say? Very simple. It's simple logic.
I mean, so for the analysis of AEC under 5, section 5, the CCI will have to delineate the relevant market.
I don't have to go into detail. Can you just tell what this sentence is? For the purpose of determining whether a combination would have an effect of or likely to have AEC in the relevant market. Read this sentence carefully. Do you get it? Any one of you? Say yes or no, boss. Okay, I'll explain to you. It says here for the purpose of determining whether a combination would have the effect of or likely to have. That means effect of would have effect of. That means in a combination which is which in a transaction which is taking place or is likely to have. That means a transaction which is proposed to take place. Understood? Understood?
Yes sir.
Yeah. AEC in the relevant market. So you appreciable adverse effect on competition has always to be looked into relevant market. In the next class, I'll define what are the relevant market. There are two kinds: geographic product relevant market and geographic relevant market. Okay, the commission shall have due regard to the following factors. So this is AEC is not defined in the act, but from certain factors. Okay, mentioned here. Factors mentioned here. sorry. One second. Where is it? Yeah, actual and potential level of competition, extent of barrier to entry, level of combination in the market. This is how you determine whether there is an AEC in a relevant market or not. Understood? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now I'm sharing a screen again. Categories of transaction not likely to have AEC in India. Now there are certain types of transaction take place where there will be no competition issue. So those kinds of transaction have been specifically categorized, and where it has been categorized in Schedule 1 of the regulations. So in view of the duty cast upon the Commission under Section 18 and the powers conferred under Section 36 of the Act, and having regard to the mandate given to the Commission to, inter alia, to regulate combination which have caused or likely to cause AEC in terms of subsection 1 of Section 6 of the Act, it is clarified that since the categories of combinations mentioned in Schedule 1 are ordinarily not likely to cause AEC in India, notice under subsection 2 of Section 6 of the Act need not to be normally filed. Understood? Understood? Any doubts? Boss, say yes or no.
Regulation. There is no schedule in Act.
Sorry, not in the Act, it's in the regulations.
Yeah,
Combination regulations.
yeah.
Okay. Now I am going to Schedule 1 directly. This is Schedule 1 of combination regulations. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Within Schedule 1, there are 10 items. Item number 1. Okay. Item 1A, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. Out of these things, the most relevant one is item number 1, because the maximum type of cases being filed to CCI comes from item number 1. There are from other items, reference to other items are also given, but item number 1 is the most relevant. Now we understand what is this item number 1. An acquisition of shares voting rights referred to in subclause 1, subclause 2 of clause A of Section 5 of the Act. Remember Section 5 of the Act, which we discussed last time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Solely as an investment or in ordinary course of business, insofar as total shares or voting rights held by the acquirer. Okay, now you take this case of, take an example, there is A and B. A is an acquirer which is dealing in components of not components, in finished products of these of various high brand cars. And B is a company which provides spare parts and all those things. A acquires B. So when A acquires B, directly or indirectly, okay, so under what condition shall you not file combination filing to CCI? Now, last time I told you about that threshold exemption and that de minimis exemption. Remember, guys? Say yes or no, boss.
Yeah.
Now imagine a situation where under target exemption it is above 350 crore and 1000 crore or 1000 crore in turnover, 350 crore over assets and 1000 crore over in turnover. The target is above it. Now you come to target exemption, it does not fall in the target exemption. Then you go to stage 2. Stage 2, then you do check the threshold filing. Now in both the threshold filing, it is assets is over 2,000 crore and turnover is above or turnover is above 6,000 crore, even it passes stage 2. Now in the next stage, what will you look whether it has to be filed or not? You will come to this schedule 1. Why? Now you will see under what condition it can be exempted not to file to the CCI. Okay, where the acquirer does not hold more than 25% of the total shares of the company, of which shares or voting rights are being acquired directly or indirectly, okay, in accordance with the execution of a document. What kind of documents will be discussed? Vipul Kumar, can you explain in 1 minute what kind of document we discussed in previous class? Vipul Kumar, you are there or not?
Yeah. The shareholder agreement, share purchase agreement, share transfer agreement, asset purchase agreement.
Right. So the first category, first criteria that even if it crosses the crosses the target exemption and qualifies the threshold, still it can avoid filing to CCI. On what grounds? You have to look into schedule 1. Now when you look into schedule 1, what you have to see that the acquirer does not hold more than 25% of total shares or voting of the company, okay, of which it is being acquired. That means when A acquires B, if it acquires 24.99, and will there be a filing to CCI or not? Parth?
No, if the acquirer has no prior existing investment, then
Acquirer is acquiring. I'm not going to those details. I know. Acquirer is acquiring 24.99. Okay, and the target exemption does not is above. Target value is above 350 crore in assets, 1,000 crore above in turnover. Also, threshold, they qualify the threshold value now, but the acquirer is acquiring only 24.99. So will you file to CCI or not?
we won't,
Why?
because it's not entitling the acquirer to go above 25%.
Exactly. So you are understanding there are step 1, 2, and 3. So 1 and 2 I discussed with you last time. This is 3. Okay, I'll again go it from. Does not entitle the acquirer to hold 25% or more of the total shares or voting rights of the company, of which shares or voting rights are being acquired directly or indirectly in accordance with the execution of any document including SHA, AOA. Okay, this is one condition. Second, not leading to acquisition of control of the enterprise whose shares or voting rights are being acquired. Understand, there are 2 conditions. One, it should be less than 25%. Second, there should be nothing control over. There should be no control over this target. Okay. Understood?
Determine that the control is.
You have to determine whether there is certain degree of control or not, and what is a control. What kind of control is it? Okay, is it only investor protection right or something more? Okay, Nikunj Agarwal. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, what if it leads to an acquisition of control?
If it leads to acquisition of control, who asked this?
Abhijit, sir.
If it leads to acquisition of control, that means it does not fall under item 1 of schedule 1. And if the target exemptions, item 1 and schedule 1, and previously, if de minimis exemption, the target value is above the de minimis exemption and it qualifies the threshold, that means filing has to be made. Okay.
Okay.
Because control is something which is very dynamic in terms of CCI. See, in India, various regulatory bodies have different control standards. Okay, there are positive control, negative control, de-zero control, okay, de facto control. I'll be taking that separately in the separate class. But here you understand this. Okay. Now next, yeah, you read this solely as an investment or in the ordinary course of business. Yeah. Now, can anyone explain to me what is a solely as an investment or an ordinary course of business? I believe everyone has read Companies Act. Okay. Now this exemption was brought in. Explanation was added in 2017. 1 second, let me go down. 57. 2016. Sorry. Inserted CCI procedure in 7th January 2016. Okay. 2016. The acquisition of less than 10% of total shares or voting rights of an enterprise shall be treated as a solely as an investment. So your explanation has defined what is solely as an investment, but it has a rider. What is the rider? The acquirer has the ability to exercise only such rights as are exercisable by ordinary shareholders whose shares or voting rights are being acquired to the extent of their respective shareholding. Okay. B, the acquirer is not a member of the board of director of the enterprise. Okay. Whose shares or voting are being acquired, does not have a right or intention to nominate a director on the board of directors of the enterprise whose shares or voting rights are being acquired. Okay. Does not intend to participate in the management or affairs of the enterprise whose shares or voting rights are being acquired. So did you understand? What is it trying to say? Say yes or no, boss.
I've understood, but I have several questions
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, generally in the entire PVC world, you will have investments that are interlinked to one another, but the creeping acquisition that is happening will be very, very limited. In that case,
that is another provision. That is another provision I'll take up. Okay, that is another.
no.
But
So
have you
here, I mean, the way this has been described, I was just thinking of basic protections like ABM matters and all, which an investor will necessarily ask, even if it's some 5-6%, or a board seat that easily is given in across.
Exactly. So now
Yeah.
I'm coming to your question. Even if there is a board seat, okay, and even if there are certain veto rights given to the investor,
correct, yeah,
okay, then you have to file it.
Okay.
Then you have to file it. First, this portion deals with 25% basic thing. This further amplifies it. Okay. In what condition it would not be fileable? The conditions are these conditions are to be read in a very strict manner.
Right.
Okay. These condition has to be read very strictly. How many of you have read statute of interpretation in law school?
Yes, sir.
You have read. So it has to be given a strict interpretation as it is. So it should be an ordinary shareholder. It should not be on the board. Okay. Then there should not be a nominee director. Then it should not manage the affairs of the company. Okay. These are very strict conditions put in. Now I'll take up on item 1, schedule 1. I'll take up certain case laws decided by CCI, basically how they have dealt with it. Okay. So
And very quickly, if I may ask, even if one condition is upset by an investment, you should file.
Exactly.
That's the idea.
Exactly. Right. See, the word here is and. Okay. So even if one of them is there, so you automatically fall into it. You know why it is? Why this item 1 to schedule One is made like this. See, everything is a market dynamics. Any transaction which is taking place, if it alters the dynamics in the market, so that the competitiveness in the market is adversely affected. So to keep the market functioning in a very fair manner, all these actions have been put in. Okay.
Right. Right.
Now I'll take you to. I have to handle 3-4 cases here. Okay. 1 second. Have you read how many I have shared during the day? EMC, that case law EMC. Have you read it? Boss, have you read it? Have you guys read it? EMC. EMC Limited. 1 second. Share. Can you see?
Yeah.
Notice filed by EMC Limited. Now this is a very classic case because I prepared this order way back. Okay. So 1 second. 12. 1 second. So in this case, what had actually happened, that there are two companies, these group companies, EMC and MKN. Okay, they are acquiring in MBECL. Okay, once I explain this, please do read this this order. Everything is written, case number and everything is given here. Okay, combination number is C 2015-7/293. This is very important because this case has explained a lot of concepts. Okay, so straight away I'll go to two issues which is being handled into it, because I'll be taking up this case in your gun jumping also. Okay, this is very important for, because it has explained number of factors. Okay, now there are two issues, whether EMC and MKN belong to the same group. Okay, and another topic which we'll discuss over here over this session is whether the two transactions are interconnected and strategic in nature. Okay, say boss yes or no, because I should
Yes, sir. Okay.
hear you, otherwise I can run the class very fast. Okay, now what had happened, that there were two acquisition, first acquisition and then second acquisition. So what was the first acquisition? MKN is a company. MKN is a company which acquired 12.32% in MBECL. Now, does it fall under item 1 to schedule 1?
No.
Why?
It is below 25% of threshold.
So will it will you file the notice to CCI or not? Yes or
No, not at all.
Okay, good. Now there is another acquisition by a group company of MKN is EMC. Okay, 19.77. Okay, understood?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, will you file notice to CCI?
No.
Why?
That is also below 25%.
It is also
Below 25%.
okay. Okay. It is also below 25%. Okay. Now you see. Now I'll explain it to you. Certain points. Read this. What has the CCI given in its order? Most of your answers will come out from the orders of the CCI. So these orders need to be read very carefully. The combination regulation in one of the order 202 had observed where the acquirer and target are engaged in same substitutable competing businesses. Here MKN and EMC are into substituting business, or where their business activities are vertically related. Okay, an acquisition of shares of voting right of less than 25%. okay, need not normally be termed as acquisition made solely as an investment or in the ordinary course of business. Do you understand?
So this must have come before the explanation that was added as to what it means
Yes,
to.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So suppose MKN and EMC, let me MKN and EMC are two companies, and MKN, one second, there's a page. MKN and EMC are two companies which are dealing in the same business. They are part of group companies, okay? Or MKN and EMC, they are vertically related and they are investing, okay? So in those scenarios, this is an addition. This is the this concept has evolved from the practice of CCI. It is not written somewhere. That is why I'm saying that this order is very important for many
Okay.
from many aspects. Okay.
Okay.
So then item 1 to schedule 1, it will not fall in there. It can supersede it. Why it can supersede it? It is written in 12.4. It is written EMC and MKN are both engaged in EPC and supply of T&D equipment, and MBECL and EMC are competitors in the market for substation. Okay. The first acquisition, which is MKN, was made by a group company of EMC in its competitor. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now this item 1 to schedule 1, where has it come from? Because Indian competition law is very young. So can anyone tell me where has this item 1 come from? Okay.
No
If
idea.
you, sorry, which
So I mean,
jurisdiction?
generally,
No ideas.
the Sherman Act and TFU both have exemptions, which are very, very minuscule in nature.
Yes, it is there. One second. Yeah. Now you read 12 point. One second. Now you read 12.5. As per international best practices, what is this? Is an HSR rule. Okay. Footnote 4. Okay. HSR rules in the USA. Google it. HSR rule 8.802. Okay. So it has defined that solely as an investment, exemption does not apply. In item 1 explanation, it said when and solely of what is defined as solely as an investment, and what are the sub conditions. Here it says that when can solely as an investment, exemption does not apply. The target holds more than 10% of the competitor of the acquirer, or the acquirer holds more than 10% of the competitor of the target. Now, can anyone explain to me what is it saying? Guys, please speak up, anyone here. Yes or no? You understand it or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
Basically, that 10% rule is a two-way sword, where the target or the acquirer, as long as there is a horizontal connection between the two of them, if they are above 10%, then that benefit of that exemption will not come to you.
Both are two different. This 12.3 is a separate concept from this 12.5. So don't mix it. Understand this, where the target and the acquirer are in a competing businesses. Okay. Here I am where the target and where the acquirer and target are engaged in competing businesses or vertically related. Okay, then this item 1 does not apply. Okay, one concept is this.
Okay.
Then second concept is this, solely as an investment. Here in this case, EMC, MKN and MBL. Can anyone tell me who is the acquirer?
MKN.
Acquirer holds more than 10% of a competitor of a target. Who is the target? MBECL. Okay.
Yeah.
Acquirer. Now MKN holds, who is a competitor of the target? Who is the competitor of the target? Boss, everything is written in front of you. Read it. MBECL and EMC are competitor.
Yeah.
Understood? And EMC, EMC and MKN, they are group company. MKN holds 29% in this EMC. So does it qualify this? The acquirer holds more than 10% of the competitor of the target. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Now we'll, in the subsequent paragraph, we'll read it, what it says. Okay. The acquirer of the first acquisition, that is MKN, holds more than 10% in the competitor of the target. Understood?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Given that MKN and EMC are entities belonging to the same group, okay, EMC is a competitor of MBECL in the substation market, okay. The first acquisition by MKN of 12.32% of equity shares would not be considered as a solely as an investment in ordinary course of business. So who told me that that the first acquisition is exempt? Who said me? Now you get your concept get clear from this 12.6. Okay. Now another thing to look into, when there are number of transactions, sub transactions taking place, time period is very, very important. Okay, time period. Okay, so the first acquisition and the second acquisition took place within a very short time period of 3 months. In this regard, the commission noted even mature jurisdiction like European Commission, this is another concept in this order, also took cognizance of time lapse between two transactions taking place between same persons or undertaking or entity belonging to determine interrelated nature of transaction. Okay, minimum time gap should be 2 years. If group companies are acquiring the same target, or transactions taking place between same persons or between same persons or entities belonging to the same group. Okay, this is another EU concept. So you see why this is happening. Indian competition law is a very new jurisdiction, 10-12 years old. Okay, while EU and US are evolved jurisdictions, so it adopts many concepts from there. Understood? Boss, yes or no, boss?
Yeah. And this 2-year difference that you're talking about, this is also coming from case laws.
This is also
That
coming
ideally
from
Okay. Achha. Okay.
Okay. Now again, what will you suggest to other client when you are doing a competition due diligence? That your annual report, no public announcement should be made in such a way that it traps. Okay. One second. Let me go down. This is another concept. Okay. Now I'll take you to another case where the concept will be more clearer. There is one Alibaba case. Okay. One second. Are you understanding it, boss, guys? If you have
This
doubt, ask me.
public notice and announcement related point, you're explaining it.
I'll explain it
Alibaba.
later. I'll explain
Okay.
it later.
Okay.
Because that is a different interconnected transaction, then you guys will get confused. Now this is Alibaba is acquiring. Alibaba is acquiring. One second. Sorry, my cursor is so fast. Alibaba is eBay. This This is another transaction which is filed by Alibaba pursuant to execution of share subscription agreement, okay, share purchase agreement between Alibaba and eBay Singapore, eBay and Jasper. Now, what is the important concept here? What is the concept here? Yeah, here, number 3. In the present case, though the acquirer, which is Alibaba, is acquiring a non-controlling stake of less than 5% in the target, okay, since the acquirer and targets are competitors, keeping in view with the decisional practice of the CGI, such an acquisition by the acquirer may not be viewed as an acquisition made solely as an investment or in ordinary course of business, and hence cannot be categorized as a combination that need not normally be filed under item 1. So do you understand what is this speaking? It is a very important concept.
But do you also feel that after the addition of the explanation, the Alibaba order will hold the field?
Forget the explanation. What does it say? Even if under item 1, one second, let me go back to item 1. And under item 1, under item 1, can you see this, guys? Item 1, yes or no, boss?
Yeah.
Yes.
Under item 1, even if it says, okay, I am not taking 25, taking 20%, there is no control, nothing. Okay, now this is one scenario. Another scenario, I take 2%, okay, less than 10%, ordinary rights, no board members, okay, no nominee directors, no interference in the management, nothing. Even after this, if the companies are competing in such a manner, okay, even after this, the companies are competing, are competitors, okay, then in such a scenario, where Alibaba, yeah, then in, one second, let me share the screen. Which screen are you looking at, guys?
Your shared screen has stopped functioning.
Even then, okay, even then it will go out of item 1 and of schedule 1. You understood?
Yeah, sir, but here there is the competitor.
If the acquirer and target are competitor,
But sir, in that case, how the pharmacy acquisition is allowed by the CCI? Like Farm AG acquired the MedLife.
see, Pharmeasy is acquiring the MetLife, so it has examined it. That is what it has said. I'll read again. Since the acquirer and target are competitors, such acquisition by the acquirer and the target may not be viewed as acquisition made solely as an investment and ordinary course of business. Hence, cannot be categorized as combination, or combination that need not normally be filed under item 1, schedule 1. That means you have to do the filing. Suppose you are taking the case of this Pharmacy, taking which other company you mentioned?
Yeah, MedLife.
MedLife. Say it is taking 1%. Okay, and you will say on looking it that boss, it falls under item 1, item 1 to schedule 1. Therefore, it is exempt. We need not to file. No, it is not such. They are competitors. They can be competitors either horizontally or vertically. So you have to file it.
Okay.
Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. Next case. EMC is done. It is observed. Read here, para 9. Okay, along with me. It is observed that acquisition of shares of voting right, even if it is less than 25%, may raise competition concern if competition acquirer and target are either engaged in the business of substitutable products or business, or are engaged in activities at the different stage or level of production. Such acquisition need not normally be termed as acquisition solely made as an investment or ordinary, and thus would require competition assessment on case basis under the relevant provision of the Act. Understood?
Yeah.
Understood? Okay. New BV done. Okay, we did 3 cases. Please note down 202, 293. 202 is new moon BV. 293 is EMC. Okay. And one more case we did. 301 Alibaba. Okay. Next we'll go into this 175. Yeah. Understood? Concept is clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then case number 905. Please note there, because after the class, do read this. Okay, do read this. Now in 905, para 7 to para 9. I'm going straight away to para 7. It has been submitted. Now what has happened? We have learned on this. We have learned. One second, where is it? We have learned what is solely as an investment. Okay, these concepts solely as investment. But what is an ordinary course of business? Because for years, when I was a part of a lateral consultant to CCI, I had given them advice that define what is ordinary course of business. Because if you look in the Companies Act, at number of places ordinary course of business is defined, and ordinary course of business concept comes from this accounting standards. Okay. Yes or no, boss?
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay. Now you're reading, it is submitted that the proposed combination in the ordinary course of business. Ordinary course of business of TPG and FEA should have benefit from item 1 of combination of item 1 of schedule 1 of combination regulation, and the proposed combination has only notified to the commission out of abundant precaution. See, at times, why in order they use the word abundant precaution? You know, at times the parties are not certain, even the CCI is not certain that whether it should be filed or not. So as a matter of good faith and abundant precaution, they file it to the CCI. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is based on the submissions that TPG SF would have minority shareholdings in Express, and TPG SF, the group does not hold any investment in the entity that has horizontal overlap with or is vertically related to the business of activities. In this regard, the commission observed, what it is observed in one of its gun jumping orders, section 43. In 509, the commission noted that the term ordinary course of business is meant to refer to transactions. What is ordinary course of business? Which are frequent, routine, usual, and therefore it may be said that the term ordinary course of business correspond to the revenue transaction for the competition law purposes. Transaction in ordinary course of sale and purchase of securities are done solely with the intent to get benefited from short-term price movement of securities. Okay. Can anyone explain to me this highlighted portion? Yeah. Boliye, boss. Anyone?
Yeah, so basically this is trying to cover only those limited entities whose business is the trade and securities. So वो जो short term movement होती है prices की, उसके basis पे अपना gain निकाल के फिर forward कर देती है.
Exactly.
Taking
Only
short position on. Yeah.
What are transaction in ordinary course of sale or businesses? Transaction done in ordinary course of sale and purchase of securities are done solely with the intent to get benefit in short-term price. From the notice, the commission noted that the purpose of proposed transaction is not to get benefited solely from short-term price movement. Okay. Therefore, the proposed combination cannot be considered to be done in the ordinary course of business for the purpose of item 1 to schedule 1 of combination regulation. Further, acquisition in ordinary course of business of sale and purchase of security neither entails right or ability of any party to the acquisition. Now, can anyone explain what is right or ability of any party to acquisition? What kind of rights? Boss, all of you have read Companies Act, and please tell what kind of rights can an acquirer hold? Veto rights. Okay. One of them is veto right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll read it. Further, acquisition in ordinary course of business of sale or purchase of security neither entails right or ability of any party to the acquisition to participate in the decision-making process of another party to the acquisition, not resulting into access of commercially sensitive information or envisage any other agreement or understanding having commercial significance. Can anybody explain why is the word commercially sensitive information? Okay, or commercial significance is used?
Because the transaction can get the commercial benefit to the one entity.
Okay, the competitiveness will reduce. Say the same pharma company, say PharmEasy is acquiring Mankind. Okay, now it has access to competitive sensitive information like customers, balance sheet, and all those things. So while the transaction is going on, so will the target will carry on its business as competitively as before the transaction was on? Yes or no?
No.
If we'll get info, if the competitive information is leaked out or shared between the parties, no or yes?
No.
Why no? Because ultimately the whole competitive process will get affected.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what are these agreements? These agreements could be related to strategic course of business, domain of operations such as procurement, production, marketing, distribution, technology, R&D. Okay. Understood?
Yeah.
Now, any other case left? Because these concepts are very important. If I would have run it like this, you would have not understood. So 4 cases: 202, 293, 301, 905. Okay. Now let me use this one. Competition combination regulations. We have dealt with item 1. Is the cursor not moving? Now somebody has asked about creeping acquisition. Who asked?
I had asked about it. Before we go to creeping acquisition, can I quickly ask 3 more questions I had?
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll take the example of SoftBank, which holds minority stakes in both Ola and Uber, which are of course competitors to each other. My question is, so somebody like a
relating
SoftBank
to P. I understood your question. Okay, you can go ahead. I know what you are asking. Go ahead, because data also did it. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, my question is, any PVC firm whose actual business in the ordinary course is only about investment, therefore now by virtue of what we've read in schedule 1 item 1, will necessarily have to go and seek CCI's approval, because these guys as a matter of practice ask for at least a board seat. in order to protect their minority investment.
Exactly. It doesn't matter
Mm.
whether whether the board seat is for minority is to protect your investment, or whether the board seat is to influence the decision via veto rights, okay,
Mm.
or information rights or something. Okay.
Got it. I mean, two related questions that I had is as a matter of practice, is the CCI going to appreciate the concept of control as used under the takeover code? And similarly, for OCB, can we use decisions that may have been given under the Companies Act regime, whether the
See,
old act
the
or the new
concept
act?
that is very a different ball game, because the concept of control is a very disputed subject in India. The concept of control under the takeover code and under CCI is markedly different. Okay, if you take the
Okay.
control under Companies Act, it is different. If you take control under SEBI laws, it is different. Under CCI, it is different. Okay, some have a higher threshold to determine control. Some have a lower threshold to determine control.
And the same is for OCB, ordinary course of
OCB.
business.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That is why if as you are doing a lot of transactions, you will be seeing that each of these laws have a different definition of control.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, because each are looking into different parameters. Takeover, it is all about exit. Okay.
Correct.
25% plus 26%, 51%. Okay, minimum. Can't go beyond 75%. Okay.
Yeah.
Only on
Yeah.
special resolution more than 75%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it has a different concept that there is an exit from market. Here the control we are looking at fair functioning of the market.
Market. Yeah.
The concepts are different. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we come to 1A, an acquisition of additional shares, creeping acquisition. Okay, this has come from this, or voting shares by an acquirer in its group, where the acquirer or the group prior to acquisition already holds 25%, but does not hold more than 50% of shares either prior to after that. Now, there is one very interesting aspect to this Schedule 1. In all these 1 to 10, except few, you will see there is a rider, provided that such acquisition does not result from acquisition of sole or a joint control, result in acquisition of a sole or a joint control of such enterprise by the acquirer. In item 1, if you look at item 1, here it said not leading to acquisition of control. Here, if you look, it is saying acquisition of sole or a joint control. So if there is a change in control, okay, if there is, remember this is very important. It applies in most of these items 1 to 10. If there is a change in control, that means you have to do a filing. Okay. Anyone has doubts?
Yeah. You're right.
Anyone has doubts?
No.
Okay. So any kind of transaction between 25 to 30, 50%, where you have already acquired 25% and you are going to 48%. So this you have to check in item 1A. Okay, earlier there was this 5% creeping acquisition, but then amendment was done 58. We'll see what is 58 in footnote 58. Okay, it got changed. Okay, not 58, the other one, sorry, it got changed. Okay, now we go to 2. Acquisition of shares of voting right referred to in clause 1 or clause 2 of section 5, where the acquirer prior to acquisition has 50% or more than voting 50% or more shares or voting rights in an enterprise whose shares or voting rights are being acquired, except in a case the transaction results from a transfer from joint control to sole control. Can anyone explain what I read right now? Say yes or no, boss. What has happened? Why has everyone gone silent? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, yes.
So can anyone explain it to me? What is item 2? What I read it? Okay. Say yes or no. You did not understand, or did you understand?
I didn't understand this bit.
Who's this?
Parth.
Okay. The acquisition of shares or voting right referred in section 5, where the acquirer prior to acquisition has 50% or more shares or voting rights in an enterprise. Okay. Say suppose A has already acquired 60%. Okay.
Yeah.
So 50% or more in an enterprise whose shares or rights are being acquired. Okay. Except in a case where transaction result from a transfer to joint or a sole control. That means if there is a 25% acquisition, what kind of control is it? Boliye boss, these are all Companies Act concept. If there is a 50%, 49%, what kind of control is it? If there is a 51%, what kind of control is it? Okay, if there is a 75%, what kind of control is it? You have to see that the change in control degree, there are various degrees of control. So the change in degree of control should not be such that when certain decisions are taken, when A is acquiring B, say it's acquiring already 60% and it acquires 10 more percent, 70%. So while taking key decisions, will A will take alone or both A and B consent is required?
Here, when they say from joint control to sole control, are they even covering situations where I may acquire something with the help of affiliates?
Everything.
So using my affiliate is also equal to sole control.
Yeah, everything will be calculated.
Okay.
Now, nobody answered my question. My question is, A has acquired 60%. Now it is acquiring scenario 1. A has acquired 60%. Now it is acquiring 10% in B again. So it goes to 70%. So in board decisions, whether you will require approval of only A or both A and B.
At the board level, A's decisions will be final because they have the majority.
Both A or B. A and B, only A or both A and B?
Only A.
Why?
At the board level.
Why?
Because you said he has acquired 70% of the board majority, right?
70% of the shares. Now in a board meeting, in certain decisions, whether A will only pass a resolution or both A and B will pass a resolution.
That depend upon the nominees that these parties have.
Boss, don't go in details because the concept is very small. Now I take a scenario 2. A has 60%. Now it acquires B for 40% also. So is there a change in control or not?
Yes.
Now in board meetings, will A alone pass the resolution or will it require both A and B passing a resolution?
Only A.
Only A. So
Yes.
that is why it is written except in cases where transaction results in transfer from joint to sole control.
So, sir, so basically, even if it's 70 or 80 or 90, even if
70%, 80%, it is suppose A acquires 75%. I understand. I know what I are trying to ask. This is a technical issue.
Yeah.
Now there are certain certain decisions, key decisions, where B's approval is mandatory, known as veto rights. Unless until B gives veto, even if A cannot pass a resolution. Okay, so that will be also a joint control. In
Yeah.
70% also it will be a joint control. But where A takes 100%, or where A
So it's
takes
possible that
listen, where A takes decision solely. Okay, in the transaction documents are structured so in such a manner that A will take on all the decisions or majority of the key decisions solely. Then there is a change earlier from 60%, where both A and B were jointly taking decisions, to now sole decisions. So it will be fileable.
yeah, got it.
Understood?
Yes.
Now you come to 3. An acquisition of assets not directly related to the business activity of the party acquiring assets, or made solely as an investment or in ordinary course of business. Okay, not leading to control of the enterprise whose assets are being acquired, except where the assets being acquired represent substantial business operation in a particular location, or for a particular product or service of enterprise of which assets are being acquired, irrespective of whether such assets are organized as a separate legal entity or not. Can anyone explain what I was saying? What do you make of item 3? Anyone? Say boss, yes or no. Mr. Nikunj Agarwal.
Or your basically the acquisition of the assets will get an exemption unless it is of basically a substantial, or it is basically used for substantial business operations, or in a location for particular product or service for the enterprise or which the assets are being acquired.
Okay, I'll explain it to you. An acquisition of assets referred in section 5 of the act, not directly related to the first condition. Not directly, you get transactions where the acquirer is not directly related to the business activity of the target, or made solely as an investment or in ordinary course of business. You are acquiring something which is not related to your business. Okay, plus there is no control. We are not acquiring any control where assets are being acquired, except where the assets being acquired represent substantial business operations, okay, of a particular location, particular product or service. Okay, these kinds of transactions need not to be notified to the CCI. Understood now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now a tender, item 4, an amended or a renewed tender offer where a notice of a combination, where a notice to the commission has been filed by a party making the offer prior to amendment, provided compliance with. See, this is something related to tenders. Generally, item 4 has not been used by CCI till now in its practice of 12 years. Okay, this combination regulations, 12 years in a practice of 12 years, so it has not been used, though I'll explain it to you. Any tender offer where a notice to the commission has been filed to the party making an offer prior to that event. Okay, so you make a tender, say there's a transaction, divestiture is taking place. Okay, you want to buy it, you make an offer, some kind of offer. Now you want to amend it. So those kinds of transactions are exempt. Okay. An acquisition of stock in trade, raw material, stores, spare parts, trade receivable, other similar assets in ordinary course of business. Okay, where you are acquiring raw material, stores, spare parts, trade receivable. Generally, item 4 and item 5 have never been used. Item 1, 1A, or 2, 3.
Why has item 5 been segregated? I mean, it does acquisition of assets, does it not get covered in the 3 anyways?
It gets covered, but it has given a specific thing considering stores and spares part, stores and spares. Okay, trade receivables, other similar current assets.
Sir,
What do
it's
you
also
define
the
as-
ordinary course of business.
Yes, it is only related for the ordinary course of business. Okay. I'll share one document on accounting standards which defines what is not an ordinary course of business. Please do read it from accounting standards. Okay, it will give you clarity in a lot of things, not only Competition Act, but Companies Act and other subsequent other relevant commercial laws also, because a lot of places ordinary course of business is used. Okay, item 4 and 5 have never been used till now. Now we come to item 6. An acquisition of shares, voting right pursuant to a bonus share, stock split, consolidation, or the face value of shares, buyback of shares, subscription of right issue, not leading to acquisition of control. I believe all those people who have studied Companies Act understand this. Yes or no? Boliye boss. Speak, anyone speak up.
Yeah, understood.
Understood. Okay, an acquisition of shares or voting rights by a person acting as a securities underwriting. Who is a securities underwriting? Who is a securities underwriter? Or a registered stockbroker on behalf of its client in ordinary course of business and in the process of underwriting or stockbroking. Can anyone explain who is a securities underwriter?
I mean, usually investment bankers underwrite an IPO, meaning
Another thing which before I go to item 8, before the next class, everyone should come up and read the regulations of Bear Act which is to be discussed. If you don't read it first hand, it doesn't matter whether you understand or not, it will become very difficult. You won't be able to understand. Okay, everything will go on above your head. Okay, item 8 has been used quite often. An acquisition of shares or voting rights or asset by one person of another person or enterprise within the same group. Okay, these are intra who in one of the classes somebody asked me about intra group transactions. Who was it?
I had asked about it.
Okay, here it answers it. Okay, read it. An acquisition of shares, voting rights or assets by one person or enterprise of another person or enterprise within the same group company. There's a restructuring. Generally in information technology, companies dealing in IT, they often deal with this intra-group transaction for tax benefits. Okay. So an acquisition of shares, voting rights by one person or enterprise of another person within the same group, it is exempt. Now here the rider, except in cases where the acquired enterprise, that means what do you mean by acquired enterprise, boss? By this time I'll ask question, not Parth. Nikunj Agarwal, what do you mean by acquired enterprise? Whether it is an acquirer, seller, or a target?
Target, sir.
Okay, good. Is jointly controlled by enterprises, not part of the same group. Okay.
Does it mean that even if one entity is outside the group, third party entity, you will not get? Okay.
You will not get this benefit of schedule 1.
Right.
Okay. Now come to this item 9. A merger or amalgamation. This is specifically related to merger or amalgamation of two enterprises where one of the enterprise, say there is an A and B, two enterprises where one of the enterprises has more than 50% shares of the other, say 65%. A has already acquired 65% prior to this transaction. And merger or amalgamation of enterprise in which more than 50% shares of voting right in each of the enterprises are held by enterprises within the same group. So item 8 and item 9, please remember this, both deal with intra-group transactions. Okay. Now what is the rider here? Because item 9 sounds very simple, but what is it? Provided that the transaction does not result in transfer from joint control to sole control. Understood? Prior to this transaction, A has already acquired B 70%. Now it is acquiring another 3%, which is 73%. Now it goes on to acquire, say, instead of 3%, it goes to acquire, say, about 10%, 80%. And there are no veto rights, no information rights, no kind of rights left with B. So will it fall under the exemption of item 9 or not? Abhijit, Mr. Abhijit.
Yes, sir.
Please answer.
Yes, sir.
I'll repeat the question again.
Yes.
A has already, prior to this transaction, A has already acquired 70%.
Okay.
Now it is acquiring another 10%.
Yes, sir.
And there are no veto rights given to B, no information right, nothing. Okay. So no board seat also. So can we avail the benefit of item 9?
No, sir, because it does not result in transfer to sole control.
Sorry?
It does not result in a transfer to the sole control.
What do you mean by transfer to sole control?
Transfer from joint control to sole control.
Why do you say does not result in?
So
why do you say it does not result in?
Because there haven't been any transfer of veto rights or any other rights.
Do you
So
understand what is veto rights? Huh? Boss, when board will pass a resolution in this case, there are two scenarios. In one scenario, prior to this transaction, 70% is already taken by A.
yeah.
Now you are taking 10%, but you are not giving any board right to B. You are not giving any veto rights to B. Veto rights means even if A has more than 75% on certain items, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, list of items. Okay, only if B gives approval, then only a resolution can be passed on the board. Okay.
Okay.
Understood
Yes.
the concept of veto right?
Yeah.
And there is no information right. Who will take decisions on the board? Both A and B when they were acquiring, or only A now?
Now only A.
So now only A. So provided that the transaction does not result in transfer from joint control to sole control. So whether there is a joint control or a sole control?
No, here now is the sole control.
So when there is the sole control, so will you notify to CCI or not, or will you avail the benefit under item 9?
Yes, we have to notify.
We have to notify. Who is speaking? Vipul Kumar. Okay. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now there is another scenario. A has 70%, it takes 3% to Mr. Avijit.
Yes,
A
sir.
has 70%, prior to it takes 3%, say suppose it takes 5%, goes to 75%. Now B has veto rights, it has got information rights. So and when board meeting takes place and the question arises whether resolution needs to be passed or not. So whether A will alone pass resolution or resolution will be passed by both A and B jointly as they have been doing.
Both A and B.
So whether it is a joint control or a sole control.
Joint control.
So whether you will need to file before the CCI or not.
No, it comes under this.
Under what?
So it's we need to file it.
Hmm?
We don't need to file notify.
Also remember both A and B, they are part of the same group company. They are group companies of the same group.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now acquisition of shares, control voting rights, asset by a purchaser approved by commission. This is all these basically divestitures and all those things. A company which is acquiring, so these kind of transactions are exempt. Okay. Understood item. Everyone understood schedule 1? Say yes or no, boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Rishi,
Yes, sir.
I believe this explaining this whole schedule took up the whole time. So can you share the exercise so that we can take that other part, interconnected transactions, in the next class? And also everyone should do the exercise. If you don't do your exercise, before you do the exercise, please go through the class. Please go through all the orders which I have explained to you. Don't do it randomly. Okay. And in the next exercise, in the next class, we'll discuss exercise 1, previous class exercise, this exercise also, and then we'll take up that interconnected transactions also.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Can you share the exercise?
Sir, I'll share.
Share the screen.
What do I
Share
do?
the screen. You just share the screen. Yeah. Can you scroll down a little bit? Scroll down. Yeah. Scroll down. 1 second. Here only. So exercise 1. Schedule 1 exemption under combination. Schedule 1 combination provide for certain transactions that are exempt from given below 4 scenarios. Okay. Flipkart wants to acquire 7.2 in share capital on a fully diluted basis and does not want to appoint a nominee director. I believe all of you can answer this. Say yes or no only. Please, everyone,
Yes, sir.
everyone
Yes.
unmute yourself. Everyone unmute yourself. Unmute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Case 2. SPQR is an investment firm and is an existing shareholder, currently holding 4% in CIP Holding, the parent company. It wants to acquire additional 2% stake. Okay. Can you solve this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then Yono LLC, a Delaware corporation who undertook some internal reorganization, restructuring of the group holding structure, purely limited to the top structure of the holding and insurance company without any impact on the operational company. So the ultimate controlling entity remains the same as is the operational level. As someone as somewhere down the line within the group there is an Indian subsidiary, would this transaction be required to be notified to CCI? Will you be able to solve?
Yes, sir.
CPC, a financial institution, financial WOS by the US and holds 6% share in XCOM with the board representation. It now want to increase its shareholding in the company to 9% by acquiring an additional 3% with certain rights in reserve matter. Reserve matter and are those matters over which veto rights are there, okay, of the company. So yeah. So will you be in a position? Just hold on. Yeah, 4. Will you be able to do 4?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, guys. In the next session, we will take exercise 1, exercise 1, the previous class exercise. This class exercise only 1, and then composite transaction. If you don't do the exercises, then your concept will remain stuck. Got
Sir,
it?
we are supposed to do composite transactions. in
Composite
exercise.
transaction I'll take in the next class.
Okay. Sir.
Okay,
Because
sir.
that will take one full hour.
Okay, no issues.
Okay, sir. No, sir.
So we only do the exercise 1.
Only do exercise 1.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.
Do you have anything to ask, sir?
Can I quickly steep in one question? I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it's very late. I hate to do it on a Friday night. Just wanted to know, I mean, so when you're determining the product market under Section 4, under our Competition Act, the idea is you will only look at the demand side substitutability, even though now I think the Competition Law Review Board has suggested that supply side substitutability should also be considered. For combination, when you're delineating the relevant market, are both these sides looked at, or is it also consumer centric?
There is a small difference. Under combination, we go from broad market to narrow market. Understand this. Under antitrust, we go from narrow market to broad market.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, that is how you look. And it depends on case to case basis, because you see, if you look into EU jurisdiction, US jurisdiction, apart from the act and regulations, they have a lot of these clarifications. Okay. How to carry out vertical assessment, horizontal assessment, what is control. Okay, EU has defined control in 70 pages. Okay, they have their own clarification order in 70 pages they have defined. Okay, gun jumping, concept of gun jumping is documented only in jurisdiction of Brazil, another few hundred pages. Okay, so it depends from case to case whether you want to look into demand side substitutability or supply side substitutability.
But are CCIs open to accepting at least supply side substitutability arguments also?
Both. It has done in certain cases. When I'll take up those classes on antitrust, I'll explain it to you that what it initially was and how it has evolved till now.
Okay, understood.
Okay, guys. Okay. Done for the day, and please do the exercise, because exercises are important. That will further clear your doubts. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so if we are done for the day, please, I have provided the link for the feedback. Please provide your feedback for the class, because it helps us to know as to what problem you had, or you like the class. If you like the class, please give us a 5. Or if there is anything you would like us to improve on, please leave that in the comment or the part. Okay. And please keep a tab on the Discord, because sir gives me the additional reading material and I post it on there. Or if there is something else that you all need to know, so just keep a tab on the Discord once a week. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Chalo. Good night. See you all next week. Enjoy your
Bye, guys.
holidays.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
And happy Dashara to everyone.
Happy Dashara.